Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to welcome every one of you to another interesting webinar hosted by Secure Intelligence Limited. My name is Dozier. I'm an SDR here at CIL. All right, and I would like to welcome each and every one of you. So before we proceed, I would like to confirm if you can hear me. So if you can hear me, kindly send in a reaction or an emoji so we can confirm, please. All right, that's great. So once again, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Dozier. I'll be your host for today. Our topic today is optimizing enterprise efficiency with AWS Systems Manager. We'll be using AWS Systems Manager for managing services. So before we start with today's webinar, I'd like to run us through some housekeeping rules. So firstly, I'd like to inform every one of you that this session is being recorded and will be uploaded on our social media channels. At the end of the webinar, you'll get an email with the web replay link, so you can always rewatch and replay every part of this webinar. So attendees can react or raise their hands during presentation. Other engagement required from attendees is at the discretion of the presenter. And also, if you have questions or you have comments, feel free to drop them in the Q&A section, and your questions and comments would be addressed during the presentation. All right, so for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we are Secure Intelligence Limited, and as SEAL teams, we are solution builders. We apply technology to drive effectiveness, agility, and growth for businesses. We are also positioned to help enterprises scale globally. We work with 4 major pillars. The first is global mindset. Second is multi-cloud competence. We have agility, and we are paramount on growth. All right, so before we run through today's agenda, I would like to also let you know that you can always book a consultation with our team of experts if you require further assistance with your cloud platform operations or you have further questions from this webinar. All right, so I would like to introduce our speaker for today. He's a certified cloud engineer, very, very good at what he does. His name is Olaimi. So Olaimi, would like to welcome you to run us through today's agenda.
Okay, good day, everyone. My name is Rahim Olaimi. I am a cloud engineer at Secure Intelligence Limited. And my day-to-day activity revolves around creating pipelines, basically web app pipelines for the front-end engineers in order for them to have a secure tunnel, a secure channel where the application code will pass through a series of tests before getting to production where the end users can interact with. Likewise, I also create pipelines for data engineers, or call them backend engineers, wherein they provision their infrastructures that are used to host the application codes that the front-end engineers deployment would be. Furthermore, I also assign permissions to employees with respect to their assigned duties within the company, amongst other duties that I do on a day-to-day basis. So the agenda for today is understanding managing systems in the cloud. What is AWS Systems Manager? The benefits of AWS Systems Manager, especially for enterprises. Components of AWS Systems Manager, and we'll also look at Patch Manager. Then thereafter, we'll look at the demo. The next slide, please. So the objective is to provide a comprehensive understanding of how enterprises can effectively utilize AWS Systems Manager in managing servers for their hybrid infrastructure. As we know that enterprises have data, they have their servers on their data centers on-prem, and they also have their servers in the cloud. So you can use AWS Systems Manager, as we'll see soon, to leverage those workloads you have on both locations, that is on premises and in the cloud in AWS. Next slide, please. So firstly is, what is AWS Systems Manager? So it's essentially an AWS service that is used to acquire operational understanding and also to execute actions on AWS resources. So we also use it for examining operational data related to resource groups that we've assigned in the cloud to enable swift identification and response to potential issues that could be affecting our applications utilizing those resources. So we can be proactive in the way we remediate issues rather than allow the systems to be down or to have like a downtime or even having malicious people who have bad intent to have access to our systems. So in order to curb such scenarios or such occasion, so we use the Systems Manager to prevent that occurrence. So we use it also to manage hybrid infrastructure, as I said earlier. So regardless if your workloads, you have some of your workloads on-prem, right? Rest assured that Systems Manager can effectively manage those infrastructures. And likewise, when you have some of your workloads in the cloud, right? Likewise, you can use AWS Systems Manager to manage both infrastructures all within a single dashboard. The next slide, please. So here are some of the benefits of AWS Systems Manager, especially for enterprises. So a centralized management, right? It allows enterprises to view and manage operational data, compliance, and patching information from a single console. So rather than have a scenario where you have different tools, different processes, and different workflows, wherein you run your operations on a day-to-day basis. So you don't need to give or to burden your developers by or your employees by learning several tools, all because they want to manage the operations of your system, right? So you use the AWS System Manager to have a central view over all the resources you are managing, either the ones hosted in the cloud or the ones you have on-prem. Likewise, we use AWS Systems Manager for automation and orchestration, where we run scripts. We are able to automate the scripts, and you also define your operational workflows. So all of these things have been configured in a particular systematic way, a manner, rather than doing it manually. So Systems Manager has several components, as we'll see very soon, that caters for such use case. So as we said earlier, you can send in your questions within the Q&A session. So by the time we are done with the webinar, would give them attention that it deserves. The next slide, please. So here are some of the other benefits that you can derive from AWS Systems Manager. So we use it for patch management, where you can keep your systems up to date and secure. We know that on a day-to-day basis, there are a lot of updates that companies they make, right? So rather than make your systems outdated, wherein they are not compatible with the new release, the new updates that the companies or some of the softwares your servers are leveraging on. So you can use the patch management to update your OS, either Windows or the Linux instances, because they are cross-platform. So, and which is basically used to prevent vulnerabilities to reduce the risk of security breaches. So it's not just deploying into the cloud, or you want the updates to get to the end users so you can get revenue. Yes, you can get the revenue, but at the detriment of security of your infrastructure. So likewise, we use one of the benefits of AWS Systems Manager is you have a centralized visibility, monitoring, and you can have a firm control in your systems. So where we can make informed decisions, we can troubleshoot issues, and likewise optimize the source usage for better performance and cost effectiveness. So wherein you can see if you're actually spending more than what you need as a company. Are you spinning up so many servers that you don't need? Are you using more resources that you don't actually need? So you have that monitoring, you have that visibility into your resources, and thereabouts reducing the costs that you spend in managing your resources. The next slide, please. So here are some of the components of AWS Systems Manager. We have the operations management, and within this component, we have the CloudWatch dashboard. So rather than go into individual resources to check the metrics, to check the logs, and other things that are required to check in CloudWatch, so you can view all of these things within the operations management component. although of course it's going to lead you back into the CloudWatch dash interface itself, but without you navigating from different resource to another resource, you can achieve that all within the operations management. And with the sign of emoji, just kindly share and then in emoji just to show that you are following regarding what has been mentioned so far. And you can also put in your questions within the Q&A session. And when we are done, we'll give them the appropriate response it deserves. So another component we have within the systems manager is the application management, which is the parameter store. So parameter store is a component that ensures that the data that are embedded within our code, such as database connection strings, right? We have our API keys, we have passwords, we have tokens. So rather than expose them within our code, we can use our leverage the parameter store by just having a parameter name exposed within our code, while the value is what we save within the parameter store. And there are other things, as we're going to see very soon, we'll see some of these things live within the demo. So we also have the change management or the change manager. So within the change management components, change manager basically is used by engineers to gather reports on the applications or the software that needs updates. So they're able to make updates to the applications within the change manager. Likewise, in the node management, we have session manager, wherein we can remotely gain access into our servers without us doing SSH or RDP into our servers. So we'll get to see some of these things in the demo. And before we forget, do not forget to book a one-on-one session with our team of experts for consultation on how your company or your enterprise can leverage the AWS Systems Manager to better push or to better get the benefits of easy management of your workloads that you manage. Next slide, please. So now we are at the point we've been waiting for, which is the demo, and it will be showing us how to use our AWS Systems Manager to manage our servers. So I'll be sharing my screen in a bit. Okay, so here is the EC2 dashboard, right? So we've spinned up 3 servers. So we have 2 servers that has the AWS Systems Manager session manager attached to them. That's the Ubuntu webinar with SSM and the Windows webinar with SSM. And a server, a Ubuntu server that does not have the session manager attached to it. So we are going to do a comparison between the ones that have the SSM and the ones that do not have. So let's look at the Ubuntu first. So be connecting to the Ubuntu. So we can see the session manager is enabled on this server. So all we have to do is just click on connect, and we have access into our servers without the need to create key pairs. You have a private key, you have a public key that could be exposed to anyone that that has a bad intent. So you can run updates such as sudo apt install just to ensure that the OS is up to date. So you can see it's up to date. So you can run any scripts you wish, like running all with the help or the aid of the session manager without the need to have your key pairs created. So we move to the other server, which is the Windows webinar with SSM. So we connect also. So it's also enabled. We can see we can easily connect. So the previous method of connecting is by using the RDP, that's the remote desktop protocol, to connect to the server, the Windows server, where we have the username and we have a password that will be generated when we were creating the server. So we'll not be going through that route. We're going through the session manager route. So we are within our Windows server. So you can see Windows. We are within the server, and all of these things was made possible by the session manager, which is one of the components of the systems manager. So without the need to have username or have passwords or have key pairs created. So now let's compare and contrast between the ones that have the SSM enabled and the ones that do not have the SSM enabled. So be selecting this Ubuntu server without SSM. As let's see the risk or the benefit of the SSM. So you can see the prompt we have here. It says what? No IAM instance profile attached to your instance. So this is one of the things we have attached to the previous two servers, the Ubuntu server and the Windows server. So to get insight on how to do this configuration, so you can reach out to our team of experts to get a one-on-one consultation session where you can assist you in enabling your workloads to have easy access into the server rather than via SSH. This is the traditional way of doing things where you connect via SSH clients. We have a key pair and you connect to the server. So this route is not encouraged because anyone who has the key, the public key, private key, can easily gain access into your server, and you will not be pleased that your servers have been taken over by people who have malicious intent. So now would be going over to the AWS Systems Manager, wherein would see different components we had showed you earlier and how they function. So now we are here at the Systems Manager. So we mentioned earlier about the operations management components. So within these components, I highlighted the CloudWatch dashboard. So here you create a dashboard wherein you can have operational insights into your servers that you've created. So you create a dashboard, you add a lot of configurations. So just create a dashboard all of within this interface. So you connect the dashboard to your servers and you'll be able to gain insights on what's happening in your server. Likewise, we mentioned within the application management, the parameter store. So parameter store, as I said earlier, is where we have parameters for our workloads, right? So rather than have the value, the exact value of our data, like database strings, API keys, passwords, tokens, and all of the vital or the sensitive data. So we create a parameter here and we use or we reference this name within the code rather than use the exact value. And earlier we mentioned that there are different types. We have the string. So this one is not encrypted, right? While we have the secure string is encrypted. So there's not much difference just because one is password, so it has to be encrypted. Why this one that is not encrypted could be issues that has to do with connection strings of your database. However, both scenarios perform the same use case we want, which is the fact that we are not exposing those details within the code. And that's the goal we want to achieve with the parameter store. So the parameter store is within the application management components. So we also mentioned the change manager. So the change manager is one of the components, like a sub-components within the change management. So here, the engineers are able to gather reports and to make changes to the application on their infrastructure, both in AWS as we have it here and on premises. So you can make all of these changes all within this interface. So rather than switch tabs or you do your on-premises configuration updates differently or separately, so all of these things are made once this within this component. So we also made mention of the node management. So within the node management, we mentioned the session manager. So session manager within this was what we were able to. So you can see we're able to start sessions to gain session within the servers. And we also mentioned we have run command. So the run command is a component within the node management, where we can run scripts. We can run scripts. So let's see. So, and this script requires some documents. The script requires some document, and the document is a document that houses the configuration task that we want to run as a script within our servers, right? Sequentially, like in a particular sequence. So instead of doing it manually in your servers, so you run any of these documents in your servers. So these are some of the example documents we have here. So we have the Ansible playbooks, we have chef recipes, and others that we can use to make our configuration management easy for us with this one command. So we can also run this command in such a way that we have a maintenance window. We schedule a maintenance window rather than make your employees keep them up awake at night to make changes when there'll be low traffic or low request on your servers. So you can automate this within within this session. So that's the patch management. So you make your patches on your operating system, whether the Linux operating system or your Windows operating system. So you make the updates within the patch management. So, and you select the times you want to make that update. You select the time you want to make the updates without keeping your employees awake. So, as I said earlier, that you can reach out to our team of experts in order to gain insights on how your enterprises can leverage on the AWS Systems Manager in order to manage your workloads that you have on premises that when you operate or if you operate an hybrid infrastructure. So you manage both workloads, the one that you have on your on premises and the ones you have running on in AWS. And if you also have different platforms where your applications are hosted, such as Linux operating system or Windows operating system, so we are also able and capable to provide such services. And perhaps you also have other platforms or other cloud service providers, such as Azure, Microsoft Azure, and GCP. So you can also use AWS Systems Manager to run your automation. You can make changes to your configuration all within the AWS Systems Manager. So for those of us who are listening, kindly send in your questions within the Q&A session. And for those of us who are already yearning to reach out to our team of experts to know on how we can leverage on the benefits of AWS Systems Manager in our enterprise, in our company. So let's kindly do that now. So, Rosie.
All right, thank you very much, Olaimi, for that insightful presentation. I'm sure we've all gotten a lot of insights as to how we can use AWS Systems Manager to optimize enterprise efficiency. All right, so before we move on to the question and answers, if you know you've gotten something insightful from today's webinar, kindly send us a reaction so we can be certain that yes, you've been following through the presentation. Please send us a reaction so we can be sure. All right. While we look through the Q&A section. Okay, I'm seeing some reactions now. So yeah. Olaimi, once again, thank you very much. That was very, very insightful. All right. So we have one question here. It says kindly run us through the process of integrating the AWS System Manager to EC2, newly created EC2 instances. Olaimi, is that something you can help us with?
Okay. Should I do that as a demo or I should just explain? Which one do you prefer?
I would prefer if you can show us so we can have a picture of it in mind.
Okay, I will do that now.
Yes, please. And while he's preparing to show us that, I would advise that you keep your questions and answers coming in so we can all learn something very useful today. And as he mentioned, you can always book a consultation with our team of experts if you're looking to optimize the efficiency of your cloud operations. If you're looking to optimize your enterprise efficiency by using AWS Systems Manager, our team of experts are willing and on ground to help you walk through it. All right, so the link is in the Q&A section. Feel free to book a consultation, a time that is convenient for you. All right, so I'll be handing over to Olaimi to walk us through that process. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dozie. So now I'm about creating a new server or a new EC2 instance. So this is the name I've given to it, which is test webinar server. So let's choose the Ubuntu operating system, and I'll be choosing the 20.04 version of the AMI. Okay, let me log in again to the accounts. So I'm about creating or launching an EC2 instance. So let me write it again. We have the test webinar server. So selecting the Ubuntu, you can select anyone, but I'll be using Ubuntu 20.04 AMI. Then I'll be choosing the t2.micro. So this is an instance type based on different configuration settings that it's within it. So that's not the purpose of this presentation. So this part is very key. So as I said earlier during the previous demo, that rather than create a private key and a public key, right? So we don't. So we can see the default value we have here is saying what? Proceed without the key pair is not the recommended, like the default ordinarily. What we recommend is to do it. So create a key pair like we have here. So you give it a name and you choose the format type if you are using OpenSSH on Linux or PuTTY on Windows. So we are not going through that route because we don't want to create a public key and a private key. So we proceed without a key pair. So then we leave all of this configuration the way it is. Then within the advanced details section, so this is the part that we are going to adjust the IAM instance profile. So we are going to choose the SSM. So this SSM instance profile already created on this account, it has within it a role called the Amazon Managed Instance Core. So it is what enables a resource, especially EC2 instance that you are referring to. And you are able to gain remote access into your servers without a key pair. So this is the most important aspect to take note away from this webinar. So you create a role and you assign the policy of manage instance core within it. So then we launch the instance here. So launching instance means you are creating the server. So let's allow the server launch. So this is server we just created right now. So this server is, let's allow it to come up. So it's still pending. It's pending. So we allow it to keep on booting. So you can keep bringing more questions and send them within the Q&A session. And likewise, do not forget to book a one-on-one consultation with our team of experts to get the necessary insight, because we are not able to give you everything you'd want on this call. So you need to have that one-on-one interaction with the experts to know how you can leverage the AWS Systems Manager to better your workloads in the cloud and likewise on premises. So
Yeah, just to buttress your statement there, Olaimi, please and please, if you have questions, please keep them coming in. All right. So once he's done with this demo, we can move on to the other questions. And like he said, as much as we would like to show you everything, due to the time restrictions, we'll be unable to show you everything that you may want to see. That is why we are advising that you click on the link to book a consultation with our team of experts, all right, so that we can help you effectively optimize your cloud operations in order to save costs, improve operations management, and also improve the security on your cloud as well. All right, so Laimi, you can proceed. I believe the EC2 instance is running now.
yes, so I'm waiting for the instance, the status check to change to 2. So it's still initializing. So once it's done, then I'll connect.
All right. While we're waiting for that, let's run through another question. The question says, CloudWatch dashboard covers the operations management. Give and can you give a descriptive list of functions that CloudWatch can do for my systems, for my cloud platform?
Okay,
I
so
think what this person is trying to say is we want to get more insights as to what CloudWatch can actually, the information CloudWatch can actually provide in terms of operations management.
okay, so I'll be answering the question on 2 parts. So CloudWatch first is an AWS managed service. So it's not like a service that you create out of the box. So it's already hosted itself. So it's managed by AWS, not managed by you, right? So that's the first thing to take note about the CloudWatch. So CloudWatch ordinarily exists on AWS as a cloud service provider. So all the services, or let's say most of the services, have an integration to it to CloudWatch. So the what you can benefit on CloudWatch are basically uh, metrics. You can gain insight on for example, on the amount of utilization of your CPUs, how the amount of requests getting into your server, is it more than the amount that your server can bear, can actually manage, or you allow your system to get to crash, kind of, because the amount of requests coming is more than what you can. So CloudWatch, within the CloudWatch dashboard, you can see the metrics. For instance, the CPU utilization. You can also look at the uh, memory usage. You can also look at network in, network out, how traffic are moving within your resources, especially EC2 instance that we are talking about. So that's regarding the metrics. You can see the insights, you can see the log, you can see the pattern of usage, whether it's the utilization of your CPU or the memory. So you can also benefit from the CloudWatch via the logs. So you can create logs. You can create logs within the CloudWatch. So wherein the different things are happening on your application. For instance, a user is clicking on a particular button, or is meant to do a particular thing on a particular place within the application. So you can find the logs, the time, the timestamp. You can find details, the IP address, and all of these things being logged within the log groups that you have in the CloudWatch. So likewise, you also have a CloudWatch event. So wherein different events that happens in your system, you can track it within that space. So that's regarding CloudWatch. So the CloudWatch dashboard you create is where you can find all of these details within that interface. Within the interface, although you can link from that interface to the CloudWatch resources that you have. So, but just having a single platform, a single interface where you can have that holistic view of what's running in your infrastructure. So that's what the CloudWatch dashboard does within the AWS Systems Manager. So I believe, and I hope that question is duly answered. So now we have our EC2 instance spinned up right now. You can see the session manager has been enabled. So we can connect via the session manager now, and we'll gain access into the server. So you can see I'm already in the server right now. So I can run any script I wish like running. So this is a script, an example of a script. I can install anything. Can make updates. So I can update the operating system. So I don't need to have a key here, a private key, a public key. So bothering myself that perhaps somebody could have access to them. No. So you can see all of these things are run within the session manager that enabled such process to occur. So I hope the question was answered.
Yes, thank you very much, Olaimi. Let's quickly run through some other questions. We have another question. It said, you mentioned the use of AWS Systems Manager with GCP and Azure. Kindly repeat the value in that and also the benefits of those running on data centers or on premises. Let me go over the question again. It said, you mentioned the use of AWS Systems Manager with GCP and Azure. Kindly repeat the value in that and also the benefits of those running on data centers or on premises.
Okay, so I'll start with the last question. So one of the key takeaways we can get from the AWS Systems Manager is that we have a component, right? No, when I showed you in the demo, creating an instance, right, to show you how to add the SSM or the session manager, right? There was something I created, right? So on AWS, all the servers have that thing basically installed, right? As long as you're able to attach a role to the server, right, you don't need to install that component, which is what the SSM agents. So you have to install the SSM agents on your on-premises server. That would be the first thing to do. So then once you have installed that, right, then you need to have a role attached, a role that is already created on AWS that attached to your servers. So as I said earlier when we started the webinar, that we want to have like a single console where we can have an overview of all the servers that we are managing. Imagine managing 20 servers in different places. Some you have like 7 on-prem, you have some in Azure, you have some in GCP, you have some on AWS. So rather than having these scattered servers where you need to move from one screen to move to another screen, so why not have a single dashboard, right? You can see everything that you've actually created. So, and all you have to do is just install the SSM agents. It's open source, right? It's an open source. Uh, it has some scripts or commands where you can run on different platforms like Azure and GCP. So when you're able to follow the process, as I said, that you need to contact our team of experts to get an insight in how to go about all of these processes. So you install the SSM agent and you are able to track all your servers within the AWS Systems Manager. I hope that answers.
All right. Thank you very much, Olaimi. That was a very good answer and response. All right, so following up with that question, we also have another one. It says, why should I use AWS Systems Manager instead of Microsoft's Configuration Manager? So if you can take that question for us.
Okay, I don't really know much about the Microsoft workload manager, if I got that correct. So it depends on what you actually want to leverage on. As I said, I don't really know much about the workload manager, so I assume it's somehow similar to the systems manager. So based on my experience working on or using the systems manager, so is a component within AWS as a cloud service provider that's kind of do multitask on different things that you are thinking of doing. You can run scripts, or you can automate things, you can uh, store your password, like your data, your your tokens, API keys, and all of these things. You can do the change management, where you can update the applications, the configuration that your application need. You can also do patch management. You can also SSH into your servers, right? You can also have an overview, like through the fleet manager. So there are a lot of robust services or robust component within the AWS Systems Manager that I believe whatever you mentioned about Microsoft Workload Manager, thereabout, AWS Systems Manager can do that and more. So I think that should answer the question.
Yes. Thank you very much, Olaimi. All right. So I also saw a question. It says, are you guys running a training on AWS? If yes, how much and how many months training, as well your location? All right. So firstly, I would like to inform you. If you look at your screen right now, you'd see a link to our free AWS training, free AWS digital training. All right, so if you click on that link, we'll also be sharing it on our Q&A section. If you click on that link, you can always access our free AWS digital training. We also have our Zero to Techie program, which is basically for people looking to implode into the tech space. All right, so you can click on the link to book a consultation with our team, and we'll run you through the necessary information you need for our Zero to Techie programs. Okay, so Olayemi, thank you once again for this insightful presentation. I'm sure we have all learned a lot today. So thank you very much. Like I said, if you are looking to take our free AWS digital training, the link is on your screen, and we've also shared it in the Q&A section, so you can access free AWS digital training. And if you require further assistance, or you still have further questions and you would like our team of experts to help you with this issue,
Okay, thank you so much. I think there's a struggling with this network. Please confirm that you. Please confirm that you can hear me.
I can hear
You
you.
give a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Okay, I think that will be all for today. We've had a wonderful time today. If you have further questions, you can still drop it in the Q&A. And if not, you can as well book a one-on-one session with our consultant. The link is being shared in the in-call. Okay, and also there is the link to the free AWS training. And like Jose said, you can also opt in for our Zero to Techie program. We currently have cloud engineering, data engineering, as well as front-end engineering course open. Court 9 is currently open for that, so you can do that. But you can also book a one-on-one session so that we can give you answers based on the Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time to join us today. We hope to see you in our next webinar. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
The webinar has ended. Thank you for joining. Goodbye.